Morning students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine at home. Okay, I am also fine at home, students. Okay, now we are already at the finishing of these lessons in commerce. Okay, at the last stage. Now again, 7 more lessons available. Okay, so for this half-yearly I will complete up to I will try to complete up to 25 lessons. Okay, the remaining, if I get time, I will complete, but the questions have been selected up to lesson 25. Okay, so the 22nd lesson, I will explain that outline, that I will explain the full lesson and we will mark the question answers. Okay, I am planning to complete this lesson by one period. Okay, so just listen what are this lesson meaning. Negotiable Instruments Act. Okay, this act has been passed in the year 1881. Okay, the Sale of Goods Act 1930, isn't it? But this one, it is 1881. Okay, in the previous century. But here, so first you should know what are negotiable instruments. Then negotiable meaning you should know, that means transferable. Okay, so from this word you can understand. So we know some instruments here. What are the instruments mentioned here are the check, that you know very well, isn't it? Then bill of exchange and promissory note. Before, now only we have got this check, isn't it? Before they were having the bill of exchange and promissory note. Before centuries before, they were having only this bill of exchange and promissory notes. That its origin was very old. Okay, promissory note, then bill of exchange. It was prepared by the seller of goods. Okay, now it has been given to in the hands of the government, these two, bill of exchange and promissory note. Okay, that I think we have studied this one in the previous lessons, isn't it? In the money market, that bill of exchange and promissory note, isn't it? We have learned money market instruments. So now check also have been included. Here they have included these three documents, instruments. Okay, these three documents are called instruments. So, what is the meaning? These instruments are negotiable. That means we can transfer the ownership of the instruments from one person to another. Okay. That means here we are writing the amount in the check or in the bill of exchange or promissory note. That we will learn each and everything in detail. Okay. So I will explain first what are the negotiable instruments. That means any instrument, maybe a check or a promissory note or a bill of exchange, that can be payable either to the bearer. Okay, that means payable to either to the bearer. Bearer means one who has the instrument. If I have a check, then I can collect the amount from the bank, isn't it? That means called the bearer. Or to the order, or the transferee. Okay, to order to pay, we are ordering. Either the person one who has drawn a check can take that same instrument to the bank. Okay, I am writing a check on my own name and I will take it to the bank. I can collect money. At the same time, that ownership, that the check ownership can be transferred to somebody else. I can write anybody else's name and that same person can collect the amount from the bank. Okay, that is called that order to pay. Again, the same in document can be transferred by endorsement, that we will learn. Okay, that is called the transfer of ownership from one person to another. Okay, that they can transfer the ownership of the instrument. So that meaning is given. So in common, we will study what are the features of these negotiable instruments. Okay, what are the features of the negotiable instruments? Main feature is transferability, isn't it? That is why the name itself is called. So transferability, that ownership can be transferred, or title to ownership, okay, or the rights of ownership or the property to title, that can be transferred from one person to another, okay, either by just giving. So if I write a check and I give to a person, that means by delivery I am transferring the ownership, okay, or endorsement. I have this one, I'm explaining now itself, okay, endorsement and delivery, that I am writing at the back of the instrument to whom I am transferring that instrument. Okay, so they will check at the back of the check, and that to that person they will pay the amount. Okay, then I will write this called endorsement, that the transfer of title of ownership to another person, and we will deliver that document also to that person. So that person will be the owner. Okay, when we deliver, the owner is transferred. Here the it will be written, that is another feature it is come. Okay, then title of the holder free from all defects, free from all defects. Once it is transferred from one person to another, that person gets the full title, isn't it? So any defect, any defects with the document, with the transferor, that will not pass to the transferee. Okay, and here we will learn in the next heading. So if we sell and transfer a document, that land or property, but the transferor, what all the that defects he is having will be transferable. But here in this endorsement or that instruments, when we transfer, negotiable instruments are transferred, that transferee means person to whom we are transferring. That transferee is free from any defects of the transferor. Transferor means the person one who transfers the that ownership, or the transfers the document to another person. Okay, so it is free from any defects. Then right of the transferee to sue. Any problem if he has come, okay, or if he that okay, example, I am in that issuing a check and giving to another person, and when he goes to the bank, that transferor only has to deposit money in the bank. If not, no that not enough money in his account, the check will be dishonored, isn't it? That dishonored check, then transferee has the right to file a case in the bank, sorry, in the court. Okay, that is called sue. He can sue the transferor for his right, because that he is the owner, he becomes the owner, he is entitled to receive the amount mentioned in the negotiable instrument. So if the amount is not received from the transferor, if there is any disturbance, any problem, then he has the right to file a case in the court to get the amount. Okay, these are the main characteristics. Then some of the presumption also available. Okay, presumptions, that is understood meaning. Okay, what are the presumption? It will be drawn. The negotiable instruments are drawn. That means we have studied in 11th standard negotiable, not a bill of exchange, isn't it? In accountancy we have studied what bill of exchange, It's a document in writing. That means writing, drawn. Okay. And it will be accepted. Who will draw the negotiable instrument? The seller. There we have studied, isn't the seller will write, and it will be accepted by the buyer, or the seller is the creditor, the acceptor is the debtor, isn't it? That means for the consideration, that means for the money. He is writing, okay, I will give rupees, he has to give rupees, that bill of exchange, isn't it? For 10,000 or 15,000, it will be paid, it should be paid by B. A is drawing and B is accepting. What is the meaning? Yes, I have to pay that rupees 10,000 to A. Okay, that one, that is for money. Okay, nothing else. For goods and all, they cannot write negotiable instruments. For currency only. Okay, that our Indian currency. Then they cannot write I will pay dollar and all. Okay, what is the available currency of that country will be written there. Okay, then it will be accepted. Then it will be that date will be there. Okay, date must be mentioned on the date. Within that 3 months, they have to provide the check to the bank for collection. Otherwise, it will become stale after 3 months. Okay, that means that is called, we can say, the date of maturity. The date of maturity will be there. Okay, the writing date also there. Date of maturity only 3 months. Okay. Then we can transfer the negotiable instrument. Okay, before the maturity date, the ownership can be transferred. Okay, then if it is, it must be stamped. Usually the check must be stamped by the bank. The issuing bank will stamp all the checks. Okay, only then it will be valued. If a stamped check is lost, then we can cancel that check. Okay, by giving a notice to our bank. Okay. So all these are the presumption. Presumption also one of the question. Okay, characteristic presumption. Now we should understand the meaning, the difference between negotiability and assignability. Negotiability, you know, that transfer of ownership of that negotiable instruments only. Okay, that how can we negotiate, how can we transfer the ownership from one person to another person? By delivery or by endorsement. Okay, then what is the meaning assignability? Assignability means we transfer the title of property or the goods. Okay, or we can, the rights are transferred from one person to another as a gift, or we can give, that is sell, through sale we can transfer the ownership. Okay, or we can keep that property as a security. Now you see, if we have borrowed a large long-term loan from the bank, we give the documents to the bank. Now the ownership is with whom? With the bankers. Okay, as we keep the document as the security, then the ownership is transferred. Okay, as a gift also we can give to our own people, isn't it? If that through sale, that ownership is transferred. So now from the transferor, the ownership is transferred to transferee. That is the main thing, isn't it? When we negotiate, when we transfer the ownership, the transferor is no more the owner. Who will become the owner? The transferee. Okay. Now we will see the difference, okay, between the negotiability and transferability. and transferability. Okay, now the ownership. So we have learned that meaning, isn't it? It is transferable just by delivery of the instrument or by endorsement and delivery of the instrument. But transfer, that assignability. How they assign, and they have to follow some formalities. They have to go and write a document, isn't it? Right, then it will be stamped by the you see, if you are going to sell the property, we go to the office and we will write a document, isn't it? That person will sign, then we have to take the document from the writers. We have to take that document to the office and they will stamp it. Only then it will be signed by both the parties, isn't it? All the parties of the owners of the land will put their signature. Only then it will be transferred to the transferee. Okay, then here the notice is needed to get the amount. Here notice is not needed, okay, to transfer the ownership from one person or to collect the money for the payment. Okay, on that very same date he can go and give the document. But here only that for only for the that actionable claim. For that alone they need to give the notice. For other things, for transfer of ownership of the that document, that means for the land property, land or for goods, that is not needed. Notice is not needed. Okay, then nature of the title, how it transfer. Here we have learned negotiable instrument can be transferred, and he is free from any defects, isn't it? But when we assign the property to another person, the defects will be transferred from the transferor to the transferee. That is why when we go to purchase a particular piece of land, we are checking with the government office, isn't it? Whether that they will give the reference number, that survey number, and they will check any encumbrances are available. For that means that Villangam, I have told you, isn't it? They will check, or whether the document is kept as a security in any bank. All these can be checked. Otherwise, all these defects will be transferred to the transferee. Then consideration. Consideration means the money amount is clearly mentioned, that is accepted, that is presumed, isn't it? Once we transfer the document, that means that the money is in his hand. Okay, it is only thing he has to go and deliver the document in the bank, collect the amount. But here that they have to make the payment. The transferee must make the payment, otherwise he will not transfer the document, isn't it? Now we will learn all the three negotiable instruments. Now in common we have learned. Okay, first we will learn bill of exchange. Bill of exchange, then check and promissory note. In detail we will learn. Okay, what are bill of exchange? So bill of exchange also is a document in writing, because all these negotiable instruments have many that characters of same, okay, similar nature. Every documents will be in written only, okay, and it will have an unconditional order. The same will be the features also, characters you can write. It has an unconditional order, and it will be signed by the maker. The same we have learned already, isn't it? It will be signed by the maker. And they will direct one person to, that means that to the banker, to pay the not banker. Bill of exchange, they will direct a person a certain sum of money. Money will be clearly written. Okay. And to whom they have to pay? To pay to the person, bearer, or to the order of the instrument. Okay. Either to the bearer, one who is having, or it will be transferred to someone, a person, to that person they have to pay the money. That is called bill of exchange. Okay. So that all these are the characteristics. Okay. And now we will learn the check. Okay, what are the differences? Here, check, it is drawn on a specified banker. Specified banker. Check will be drawn on a specified banker to pay the amount. Okay, not to the another person. Here the check is written, we will never write a person, but it will be given to the person, but the person has to take it to the bank only. So we are directing a specified banker only to pay the amount. Okay. Here also that unconditional order. No order will be there. No condition will be there. Okay, pay this amount to that unconditional order. Okay, that they have to pay that amount to the bearer of the instrument. Okay, then it will be in writing. So who will write the customer of the bank only will write, isn't it? And he is asking his banker to pay the amount. He has to use the pen only to write on the bank. Okay, on the check. He has to write with the ink only, not with the pencil. With the pen only he has to write. And it is written on a specified banker. He has to pay the amount. Then to pay the certain sum of money. Money will be clearly written. Okay. And the person to whom it is paid, the payee, also will be very certain, clearly written to whom it must be paid. And the drawer, he must sign the document. Okay. Signed by the drawer. Okay, one who writes the check, he has to sign the document, otherwise it will be invalid. So it must be signed by the drawer. And payable on demand. Whenever the person needs, he can pay the check. He can go to the bank and he can collect the amount. Okay, now we have learnt about the check cards. Now we will learn the promissory note. Promissory note, that means the debtor, it will be written by the that creditor to the debtor, and the debtor is accepting. Okay, he promised that I will pay the amount. Here also the same characters only available. Okay, it is in writing. And it has a promise. That is the different one. Since it is a promissory note, he promised to pay that amount. Okay. So it has a promise, and here also unconditional order only. The order does not have any condition. So, okay, unconditional order. It is also signed by the maker. Okay, signed by the maker, and the maker signed will be a person, will be a certain person. one person only can write promissory note. Okay, and that payee must be also a certain person. Okay, here the drawer, one certain person means we can say here maybe an organization also. Okay, person means not an individual. Any firms, organizations can also be a that drawer. Okay, drawer or drawee. Then for why they are writing the promissory note? To pay money only. Okay, to pay a certain sum of money. That is very clearly written on the statement. Okay, and the money will be our that currency, local currency, not the foreign currency money. Okay, then promissory note doesn't mean the this currency note. Currency note, no, this is promissory note. Okay, not currency note. And it must be stamped. Okay, it must be a stamped one. Okay, so here there are many differences also available. Okay, now we will you have to read and you will understand, because I have explained all the three instruments, negotiable instruments, so you learn the differences also, you will understand easily. Okay, at least 6-7 differences we have to learn. I will mark and give in the that intercession class. Okay, okay students, thank you very much.